Hi everyone, my name is Kan Lang and I'm a student from Pasadena City College and I'm part of the visiting undergrad research program and I'm glad to have amazing mentors like Rocio and Professor Greg. And today the title of the topic will be on understanding the rotational periods of amdors. So let's dive into it. So the topic will be in two parts. The first part will be covered on the three binary flags I use using Gaia information. So Gaia is a satellite that collects information about over billions of stars in the galaxy. And I'll be talking on how I compile the samples from the literature and how I use quality cuts based on the Gaia information and how I select the old fast rotating single stars and how most importantly, the analysis of rotation periods as a function of age. And the second part will be focusing on the machine learning aspect and how I process the Washington double star catalog and how I resolve the binary pairs using Gaia information. And lastly, I'll be talking about the algorithm I use, which is called the multi-layer positron classifier. Okay, before we dive into the problem formation, I'd like to give a background on Amdorf, like Wally and Neha did. And Amdorf are low mass stars with low temperatures from 2,500 to 4,000 Kelvin, and the masses range from 0.08 to 0.6 solar mass, and they're fully convective and partially convective Amdorfs. Fully convective means the stars they lack the radiative core, and partially convective means they have a radiative core and a convective envelopes. So the difference is their internal structure and how they transfer heat to the outer layers. And most importantly, the rotation periods and how it is being measured. So the time it is defined as the time the object takes to spin around once in its own axis. And if you look at the figure, you will see a black spot, which indicates a high energy magnetic field. If it comes towards us, we start like a timer, and it goes away, and when it comes back, we stop the timer. And the line plot you're seeing is the brightness as a function of time. That's the rotation periods. And let's get into the problem. So this is a few Amdorf samples showing bimodal distribution of rotation periods that current rotation period evolution models cannot explain. So if you look at the scatter plot, we'll see the rotation periods on the y-axis. On the x-axis, we have mass color-coded by magnetic activity. So according to the picture, you're gonna see two trends, one that is the slow rotators and then the fast rotators. In my work, we're particularly interested in the fast rotators because according to the current rotation period evolution models, it is indicated that as stars gets older, they lose angular momentum due to magnetic braking, which is a process caused by the interaction between the magnetic field and the stellar winds, inhibiting the spin rate of the stars. And there are possible explanations for this, for why this bimodal distribution is happening. Is that one, all the fast rotators are binary stars, and the second, it's because of the difference in the magnetic field topology, and the third is the initial condition of the stars. But in my work, I'll be examining the binary hypothesis and prove that not all the fast rotators are binary stars. And this is sample I compiled. So if you look at the scatter plot, you will see the rotation period as function of mass color-coded by different samples. And then I remove the stars that do not have rotation periods, and I remove young stars because we're interested in selecting the old single stars. And I recalculated the masses using linear interpolation function based on the absolute magnitude and solar mass. So overview of the three binary flags that I use from Gaia. So the first one is a Rui number, and then the value, the cut for that is like 1.4, and the second is the IPT frag multi-peak, and then the cut for that is at 2, and then the RV amplitude robust. For that one, I use a curve fitting of the single stars, which I'll be diving into it in a few minutes. So the first one with a Rui number, also known as the renormalized unit weight error, it's simply put, it's a single star model. So if you look at the top figures, you will see the motions of a single star fit. So how the Gaia uses parallax and probable motions to create a model of a single star, and then the value of the unit weight error will be close to 1. And if the star doesn't have the motions that follows this model, the unit weight error will be way bigger and it will be classified as a binary star, as you can see at the bottom figures. And 1.4 is a threshold for complex motion that doesn't fit well with the model. And then the second indicator is an IPT frag multi-peak, which stands for image parameter determination, which is an algorithm used by Gaia data processing chain. So basically what it does is, as Gaia takes lots of images, it analyzes the brightness of the source and decide how many peaks does the source appear to have. So if it has one peak, that's a single star. If there's two peaks, that means there's two light blocks on the image. So the last one is the RV amplitude robust, and it's basically it means is the total change in radial velocity. So it's important to understand how radial velocity is being measured. If you look at the figure, we can see the two stars rotating each other, and you can see the shift in the spectrum, which so the Gaia measures RV using the changes in frequency of the spectral lines. So as the star moves towards us, it causes a blue shift, compressing the wavelength. And then if it goes away from it, it causes red shift in the spectra, called strengthening the wavelengths. So Gaia uses the shift in radial velocity. This shift and these shifts are usually caused by when the stars have companions. So this is the binary classification results from 3 binary indicators. And the leftmost plot, we have Rui on the y-axis and the magnitude in G-band and the x-axis, color-coded by binary and single star, and anything above 1.4 or bigger will become a binary star, and last will be a single. And in the middle, we have IPT frag multi-peak, which is, and anything above 2 or bigger will become a binary star. And then start one, we have RV amplitude robust as function as magnitude. And for RV amplitude robust, because it's heavily dependent on the magnitude, I had to use the curve fitting of the single stars, and that the stars that are with the magnitude greater than 12, because they're kind of faint. And then I calculated the vertical velocity using Monte Carlo simulations. And as you can see from the plot, we have vertical velocity on the y-axis, and on the x-axis, we have rotation periods and log scale. So the idea behind vertical velocity is that as stars gets older, instead of the stars moving away from their orbit, they start to oscillate and bounce from the original galactic disk. So basically, it means that the more it gets dispersed, the older the stars are. And then the stars gets older. As stars gets older, we can see the increase in rotation periods, meaning the clusters in the left are young stars. And as you can see that not all the fast rotators are binary stars. So we're gonna dive more into that. So I could calculate the lower limit of age for the sample using Andrews date by Keeman et al., which is in preparation. And when we look at the figure, we see the rotation periods on the y-axis and age lower limit on the x-axis, color-coded by mass. From this figure, we can see the clear trend as the star gets older. The rotation periods increases as the stars gets older. And we selected the 37 all single stars with rotation periods less than 7 days. And we found that the stars stay rotating fast for at least 2 gigayears. So the reason I have to say 2 gigayears is that you'll see these 3 stars that are kind of looks like an outlier, and they are really, really old. So I checked them in the color magnitude diagram, and they appear to have very overluminousness. And again, there may be leftover binary stars as the classification is not perfect. And this is the part 1, and the part 2, I want to talk about machine learning and how I use the Washington Double Star catalog for the data preparation. And WDS is a catalog collection of double stars, and it gives the information about separation angles and positions of the primary star and the secondary stars. So I use a sky cord from AstroPi to separate the binary pairs, the double stars into two stars and cross-match them with a Gaia. So if the Gaia returns two unique source IDs, I classify them as resolved single star in our case. We consider that a single star because if Gaia can resolve the star into two, it means the stars are kind of far away from each other and they have less interactions on one another. And I classify them as unresolved binary if the Gaia returns with the duplicating source IDs. So moving on, we have a little bit of information on the MOP class of supervised MOP classifier. We have 5 features and 2 labels. So the features are the mean magnitude, color, and the 3 binary indicators, and the labels will be resolved and unresolved. So this is a resulting matrix from the algorithm, and with the accuracy rate of 71%. And if you look at the main diagonal, the bluish ones, those are the ones that I'm classifying correctly. So basically, it means that if the actual data is identifying a single star, the MO is predicting the star as single, and it goes same for the unresolved binaries. So I apply the three binary flag method on the WDS and compare the resulting matrices, and this is what we have. So I'd like to particularly talk about the false positive. So the top right square, and you will see the difference between jump from 29 to 48. So the left matrix is the MO method, and the right one is using the three binary flag method. True positive, that square means that our actual data is saying it's a single star, but the prediction is saying it's an unresolved binary, which is kind of wrong. So it means that, but with the MO method, we have reduced percent, meaning MO method classifies more correctly for stars that are actually not binaries. And this is a summary for my work during the summer, and is that not all the fast rotators are binary stars, and that all single stars rotating fast for at least 2 gigayears. And I defined binary and single star classification based on Gaia quality cuts. And I improved the binary classification using MOP classifier neural networks. And that's it for the wrap up. And thank you so much for listening. This is my acknowledgements and a huge shout out to my mentor who have been extremely helpful, and I'm grateful for her to have her as a mentor. And I'm thankful for Professor Greg for believing in me and the world program and the Caltech for this opportunity. And I'd like to welcome for the feedback.